be in this like stereotype. So once again, the question is, as an Asian American woman, what hardships have you encountered in the field of higher education?
Okay, so not necessarily going through education, but actually working in higher education. Okay.
Well, it could be either or. It's because we're supposed to highlight your personal story too, to give you more shed light on you. So
I mean, I would say that in different geographical parts of the country, I've had different experiences. And so, for instance, I think being even on the on the East Coast when I went to college. There were not that many Japanese Americans there, so in some ways I kind of felt like, more a minority within the larger Asian group. But I think there's still a lot of stereotype about, if you're Asian, you must be kind of foreign-born or whatever. So I do remember things, people saying things like, you speak English so well. Where did you learn how to, speak English well? And it kind of seems like even no matter how much education you get, you still kind of get put into this little stereotype. And I remember when I first went to graduate school in Indiana, because there's not a whole lot of, there was not a whole lot of diversity at that time, certainly becoming not now either, but, I think I was viewed as a foreign student or international student. So I remember, living in the graduate student dorms and, people would come up to me and ask me these really weird questions like, have you ever been to a baseball game, or, have you ever eaten cherry pie or something? Just kind of ridiculous because you're like, I was born in California, but people just think that you just got off the boat yesterday. So, I think when you go through stuff like that, you feel like you shouldn't be shocked that it happens, but then you still are always kind of shocked at that time. You feel a little bit caught off guard, like you just want to have like a really, smart answer to say to them when they, when people say dumb things. But I do recall when at the point in my graduate career, so this is like my fourth year there, and we were all applying for an internship, which is a pretty competitive process. So, of course, everyone's anxiety is high. And when you're in a doctoral program, it was a very small class, so I only had like about 6 or 7 other peers that were also applying to graduate internship. And I remember, I think we would consider ourselves good friends. We were a close cohort of students. But I remember when we were applying, one of my white male colleagues said to me, you don't have anything to worry about because, you're Asian American and you're a female, and so you'll probably just, get into whatever internship you want to go to. And I just remember being very offended, but also kind of hurt by that. Because I thought, you're supposed to be my friend, and we've really gone through this whole program together. We've kind of struggled through, difficult courses and gone through our comprehensive exams together. And so that I've done everything that you've done, and yet why is it that you kind of just feel like I would just get any internship I wanted because of who I am, And so I think those things do happen. I mean, sometimes people are more, honest about it and they say to you. Other times people may think it. So I think sometimes then along the way, then you're kind of questioning yourself. Am I only here because of being an Asian American woman? And I remember when I was in my graduate program, some of the faculty said to me, you're the first Japanese American woman we've ever had here go through our program, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of amazing because this program has been around for a long time, like maybe 100 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. And even when I went on my internship, I remember getting that same thing, like, we've never had a Japanese American woman as an intern, come through our program here at Yale. So it's kind of like, what does that mean? Like, does it mean you feel like you have like kind of more pressure on you and more responsibility, or do you feel like, you're there because you don't really deserve to be there? But I think over time, I think earlier in my career, I think I had more kind of self-doubts about, oh, do I deserve to be here or not? But over time, I think I've come to realize that you can't control what other people might think or some of the assumptions that they make. And I really do feel like I've worked, hard to get to where I've come and, the different things that I've had to go through. So I think at this point, I don't play those, hit games with myself anymore, like saying, oh, maybe they're right, maybe I don't really deserve to be here. So I think that's kind of an example of just, kind of maybe some experiences that I've had thinking about, it's kind of like discrimination, and then sometimes it's kind of more like self-doubt that kind of comes along with perceptions that other people may have of you.
I agree. Marianne, can I put you on hold really quick? I have to exit the room because we're using a classroom and they're going to be starting a classroom right now. So yeah, I'm going to put you on hold and we'll continue the interview. Thank you.
Okay.